One of the best ways to trade in Sorare is to purchase wonder kids before they've got too much hype around them, in the hopes that one day they'll go on to be a star and we will make some kind of profit. Well, in today's video, I'll be bringing you guys some of those wonder kids that you might be able to pick up who could potentially have a big future. All of them are rated as wonder kids within the game of FM23, which has a whole team of researchers behind it in the hopes of finding the next best young players in world football. So fingers crossed some of them will do well. So let's bring you those players now. Before we talk about the first player, I should let you know that none of this is financial advice. Do your own research. Don't go spending your money willy-nilly. But hopefully these guys could have a lot of potential. But of course, football's a strange game. Any of these players could get injured the next day. So always bear that in mind. And also, if you haven't started playing Sorare yet and you want to get involved, use my link in the description to go and sign up. Because if you use it and you buy 5 cards off the new card auctions market, you will get a free card added to your account for completely free that could be worth a nice chunk of money. So it's definitely worth doing that. I'll also get a bit of kickback too, so it helps support the channel. But yes, let's get into this first player, who is Lewis O'Donnell. Now, all of these players will range from different prices, but Lewis is playing for Dundee in the Scottish divisions, and his lowest price right now is below $2. So if we're actually talking pounds, you're looking at £1.80 or so for a player like this. So there's very low risk involved, even if he didn't go on to have a big future. But on Football Manager, he can have the potential to be a wonder kid, which not every player does. So if he gets his opportunity, we should see his price rising. And all it will take really is a few games. He doesn't even have to become a world-class superstar. If he just becomes a squad player or a regular starter, considering you're only paying $1.80 for him, chances are his price will rise if he gets any game time at all. He's under 23 until 2029. He's only 17, so you've got a lot of time. All of these guys are going to be long-term plays, long-term investments. But Lewis O'Donnell is certainly thought of as having a lot of talent in Scotland, so who knows how far he'll go. If you do get any use out of this video, if you could smash the like button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Subscribe for more as we push for 1,000 subscribers, and let me know in the comments which wonder kid you have your eyes on in Sorare. Our next player is Axel Kai, who, if I'm right, was the youngest player signed by anyone in the MLS since Freddie Adu, so there's a lot of hype around this guy's name. If you don't know Freddie Adu, he was once deemed to be the American Pele coming through in the MLS. It didn't quite work out for him, but you hope it would for Axel Kai, who's tore up the youth divisions over there in America. He's currently playing for Real Salt Lake in the MLS. I say playing, he hasn't had the first team opportunities just yet, but he is certainly very impressive and has an eye for goal. And he's only 15, guys, so he's got so many years left ahead of him, under 23 until 2032. Even if it takes 4 years, if he becomes a regular striker, a regular scorer at an age under 23, his price will be way higher than the $15 that we're seeing here. Obviously, it's a lot of if, buts and maybes with these kinds of players, but he's certainly got the potential. He's certainly very highly thought of, and I'm sure he's going to be a name that more people know as time goes on. One of the more expensive options on this list is striker Mohamed Ali Cho. The Frenchman was signed from the French divisions by Real Sociedad and is very, very highly thought of in Football Manager. Not only is he a wonder kid striker, he often goes on to be a striker at the level of leading the line for Manchester United, let's say. I've seen that happen, and by no means is he guaranteed to do that in real life, or probably anything close to that. But if he can become a regular under 23 striker, we should see his price increase higher than what it is now. And he is a more expensive option on this list, already about $50, so people are seeing the interest in him. And the reason is, it's because he is playing football for Sociedad, even though he's had a lot of DMPs recently. It wasn't that long ago he was playing 75 minutes against Osasuna, so he is being integrated into the first team over there. And if he can live up to anywhere near the hype, we might have a real gem on our hands. Mohamed Ali Cho, simply known as Cho in Sorare. Definitely check him out if you're after an investment or two. Burak Ince is an interesting one because in the last Football Manager game, he was considered one of the best, but in real life, he got signed for Arminia Bielefeld in the second division of the Bundesliga, signed from the Turkish leagues, and since then, he hasn't had that many opportunities, and his name's kind of dwindled out a little bit, but there is still a lot of potential there at only the age of 18. He's very highly regarded in Turkey. I remember I did a whole video on Football Manager about him, and I had loads of Turkish people commenting, telling me they see him as the future Turkish Lionel Messi. I don't really think it's working out to that level, but he's certainly got a lot of potential potential, or at least hype around his name. So for $8, you're not really risking too much. You can keep an eye on him, see if he gets any game time, and if he can become a regular player at Bielefeld, you'll be looking at a real gem. We all know Borussia Dortmund like giving chances to young players, and this one could be the next one on the production line. Again, like the others, he has wonderkid potential in FM23. It's Abdoulaye Kamara. He's a Ghanaian midfielder whose price is about £10 right now, yet to get any game time, still only 18, but we know Borussia Dortmund like using young players. They like to give him a chance here and there, and who knows, if Kamara gets 1 game, 2 games, and starts to make his way at least some part into the first team setup, chances are you will see his price increase. Of course, there's a long way to go yet. He's also currently injured, so do all your own research before purchasing him, but he is definitely one to keep an eye on. The next 3 players we're looking at now, though, all have the highest potential in Football Manager compared to anyone else in this list. All of these guys are considered not just good young talents, but some of the best young talents around. This one is German 17-year-old Tom Bischoff, who plays for Hoffenheim in the Bundesliga. Now, his price is about $26, and if we look at his SO5 scores, he did get a little bit of game time against Bayern Munich. It was only a sub appearance off the bench, and before that, again, a sub appearance against Hertha. So we're not expecting him to be a regular starter anytime soon, but you can see there is an idea there from Hoffenheim to start to integrate him. He's very highly thought of in Germany. We know the Bundesliga is a great place for young talents to grow, and if he can step into their first team, we will be seeing a great under-23 option all the way until 2029. If you didn't know already, there's a specific division for under-23 players, and they're usually the highest price, so if you can get a young player who's starting regularly, their price is usually way higher than, say, a 28, 29-year-old who scores similarly. So it's always worth keeping your eyes on these guys, and particularly on Tom Bischoff. And then there's Samuel Vignato, whose brother was also a wonderkid a few years back, but didn't quite live up to the name. He's currently at Monza in Serie A and is valued at around $12 currently. If we look at his SO5 scores, he has actually been getting some game time, which, considering he is only 18, is very promising. Like Tom Bischoff, he is considered not just good, but one of the best in his position on Football Manager 23. If he can become a regular in Serie A, there is a potential there for a pretty big profit, so he's definitely one to watch. And another very interesting case is Watford's Colombian Yasser Asparilla. Now, he's only valued at around $12, so about 10 quid, but he is actually playing most of his games. You'll see out of his last 40, he's played 90% of them. He is older than some of the other players in this list, and it's what you'd expect that he would start getting some game time. But he is getting minutes here and there, and actually he's getting quite a few 90-minute appearances. He's just not really doing so well in the Sorare algorithm, but he is believed to have a lot of potential around him. So maybe check out his circumstances, see if he's being played out of position or anything like that. Maybe you want to stay clear of him, maybe you want to go for him, but in Football Manager, he near enough always ends up playing in the top 5 divisions in Europe, and also for usually one of the bigger sides. I know I keep mentioning Football Manager, and I know it is just a game and a simulation, but there's a lot of researchers behind the scenes. There's people who volunteer to give the ratings in for a particular club or a particular league. They've got tons of researchers, and if you don't know already, the reason I know so much is because I have my own Football Manager channel with around 13,000 subscribers, and also I make the majority of videos on FM Scout, one of the biggest Football Manager channels around, with 150,000 plus subscribers. So that's why I keep bringing up Football Manager quite a lot, because it is something that I know a lot about, and hopefully my knowledge from there can translate onto Sorare. But Maxime Decker is certainly an interesting one, and particularly for me, because I have an AZ Alkmaar stack. Now, he is an 18-year-old defender starting in the Eredivisie, and we know the Eredivisie is great for young talent, particularly in these top teams. If you get someone playing, you will see their price rise a lot. Now, Maxime Decker has played here and there. You can see he had a big run of games for a while. He's been playing 90 minutes or so, and AZ Alkmaar were doing very well at this point. They were top of the league, and then it started to fall off. But even still, he's hitting around 40 points, which isn't terrible. He usually does play on the left side of that defence, and if he can become a regular in that team, he'll certainly be worth a little bit more. If there was a way for me to go back on his price graph, I think you would likely see that he was being sold for more than this when he was a regular part of the first team when AZ were doing well, because a lot of their players rose in price. But he could potentially be a good investment still, even though he has had his opportunity in the first team. $16 is still not that much, so he's worth taking a look at. On to the final 2 players now. We have Jean Duran, who actually, before I was recording this video, I picked these players out, and he was just a regular player for Chicago Fire, but by all reports, it seems like he is now on his way to join Aston Villa, I think it was, which means his price is probably actually going to dip a little bit, I would have thought anyway, because he's going to go from being not just a regular starter in the MLS, a very, very good player in the MLS, to someone who is now likely not going to start for Aston Villa. Who knows how well he could do? It could see his price rise. He's a bit older than some of the others, so his price is a little bit more expensive because he has now got some game time. Obviously, the Aston Villa move will affect things, so just keep an eye on that. And we finish off with Gino Infantino, a 19-year-old playing for Rosario Central in the Argentinian divisions, who comes in at around $10. Now, he has been playing the majority of games for his side. Just looking at it here, it looks like he only comes on off the bench, but when he's been given 90 minutes, he got 60 points. He's also got the potential for a 65-pointer, a 71-pointer when given the chance. So if he can get some regular first-team football, and it seems he is getting it, but maybe not playing to the levels that you'd want him to, you'll definitely see his price rise. He's a big talent who's under 23 until 2027, so a lot of these guys have got plenty of time to fulfill their potential. But there you go, everyone. That is a bunch of wonder kids to look at in Sorare as potential investments. If you have enjoyed the video, smash the like button for me, subscribe for more, check out Sorare using the link in the description, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.